There is romance, which is really steamy, and then there's this type of romance that is really sweet. Hi, Vanessa here, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing a book chat about Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren. If you caught my September book wrap up, then you know I read the Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren, which I thought was romantic, fun, and flirty. So on my last library trip, I picked up another book by Christina Lauren, and when I had read the synopsis, I thought it sounded a little bit more serious than the Unhoneymooners, so I wanted to see what range that these authors could write in. And yes, I said authors because I just discovered that Christina Lauren is 2 authors. And also, when I read to you the synopsis in my book haul library video, I realized now that after I finished the book that synopsis did not do this book justice to all the emotions that it conveyed while I was reading the book. Christina Lauren shares with us a story about Macy and Eliot told in alternating timelines between the past and the present. In the present, Macy is a pediatrics doctor and she's engaged to a gentleman named Sean. Her life is predictable and routine, but she is content. That is until one day she runs into Elliot, whom she hasn't spoken to or seen in 11 years, and her world is shattered, and we can tell that Elliot's world is shattered too. In the past, we learned that at a young age of 13, Macy has lost her mom a few years ago. So her and her dad purchase a vacation home and decide to use it as a getaway. And the first day that she is there, she finds Elliot in the room reading a book in the corner. Now, as a person who really loves reading, especially at a young age, one of my fantasies has always been to meet like a guy at a library or meet a guy while I'm reading a book. And so when Macy stumbles into her room and she finds Elliot reading there, I just had a lot of heart bubbles around me. And so they develop a friendship and a bond through their shared love of reading, and they spend many days just sitting in her room reading together. And one of their favorite things to ask each other was, "What is your favorite word?" And they also share book recommendations and just chat about books. So I thought that little attention to detail and just having Elliot love books and Macy love books, that was really near and dear and special to my heart, and really played on my young girl fantasies about budding first love. Now we are brought back to the present every alternating chapter, and we can see that something has happened between Macy and Elliot. Something so big that has forced them to stop talking to each other. And now Macy is faced with this dilemma of having these old feelings come back for Elliot. And when she tried to explain it to her fiance, Sean, he actually had a reaction that I was applauding, that I thought was really mature and just really sweet. So I'm going to share that with you. So she's telling him that she has run into Elliot and all these feelings may or may not be resurfacing. And this is what Sean says to her. He says, "I get that," he says quietly. "It brings up old stuff. I'm sure if I saw Ashley again, I'd struggle with all that. Anger and hurt, and yeah, the love that I still have for her. I never got to fall out of love. I just had to move on when she walked out. It's the perfect description. I never got to fall out of love. I just had to move on. He kisses me once. We're not 18, babe. We're not coming into this with a few chinks in our armor. I don't expect you to have room in your heart for me only." So just that little sentence there, I thought that Sean was really mature in the way that he approached Macy and her feelings for Elliot. And I thought that was a good example of healthy love and a healthy relationship. Now, we don't really get to explore Sean and Macy too much. We're really focused on Macy and Elliot. And what I really loved about this book is just the sweet and innocent romance that is first love. And I feel like Christina Lauren writes that we are in a bubble with Macy and Eliot. There is romance, which is really steamy, and then there's this type of romance that is really sweet. And it was so delightful to kind of witness just the budding romance between Macy and Eliot as they stumble through what we do when we are teenagers, trying to discover our feelings, trying to make sense of head and toe, and just relishing in the delight of seeing the other person. Something as simple as brushing your hands against each other, or just realizing that you like the same things. So if you like the kind of contemporary romance that just revisits all those sweet gestures or a slow building love, then I think you'll really like Love in Other Words. It was definitely a guilty pleasure to be able to read a story that allowed us to be young again, and reminiscing about when times were more simple. But it also had a dose of reality because now they are adults and they do have adult related issues and concerns, and they have a lot of, I want to say, unfinished business and a lot of bad history between them. We don't actually know what causes them to have split apart, because as we're reading the alternating past timeline, we can only see how strong their feelings are for each other, how strong and bond their friendship is. So we are left wondering what happened to these two that would cause the rift between them, and why can't they fix it? So it wasn't until the very end that we discover what had happened. And I feel that although it might not be satisfying to all readers, I get it. Everyone deals with emotions differently, and how Macy chose to deal with hers is something that I could relate to. And so Christina Lauren really brings us on a journey where two people are rediscovering each other and trying to understand if the feelings you had in the past as a young person, could it make it to adulthood, or is it just better left in the past? Now, a lot of people would say that perhaps Eliot was too perfect in this book, and this relationship might have been too perfect or too easy, but I also think that that is a beauty of reading books as well. Things are exaggerated so that the reader can experience that through pages and through words. I don't read books and kind of like judge them on what could be realistic or not. I judge them based on how they made me feel, and I think that this book really wrapped me in a love blanket and brought me into a special bubble of Macy and Eliot, which I completely enjoyed. I would rate this book 4 out of 5 stars and definitely recommend that you read it. I think I will be adding a Christina Lauren to my monthly reads to see how their other books make me feel as well. And the next book I'm starting is Made by Stephanie Land, which is an autobiography about a woman who is struggling to make ends meet while supporting herself and her daughter, and they are living way below the poverty line. It says in the synopsis, Made explores the secret underbelly of upper middle class Americans and the reality of what it's like to be in service to them. So we will be chatting about this book shortly. Wherever you are, I hope you're having a great day, and as always, I wish you happy reads, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!